Day. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm only going to be live for a second, but I thought that I would come in on the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to get daily financial news and commentary from a Black perspective. And I want to, first of all, start off by giving a thank you to Miss Natasha Morris. Natasha Morris sent me over a topic today in Facebook that I thought was worth talking about. And it's really for anybody that has a family that is seeking to accumulate wealth. If you are a wealth builder, then raise your hand, shout yourself out. If you're an investor, shout yourself out. If you have a family business, shout yourself out. If you are working to improve your life, shout yourself out. That's what this platform is for. It's for people that want to do better, people that want to be smarter, intelligent Black people. And also put hashtag B1 in the chat because we're also Black first. It's very, very important that we're also Black first. So I'm going to make this really, really short. Give me a yes or no on this. Did you see there was a whole crazy scandal with the show Welcome to Sweetie Pies? On Welcome to Sweetie Pies, which I guess was a show on the Oprah Winfrey Network, one of the, I think the son plotted or was arrested for plotting the murder of the nephew, and the nephew had sued because the nephew accused the son of stealing the idea for Sweetie Pie's restaurant or whatever. Just crabs in a barrel stuff, just real ridiculous crabs in a barrel stuff, crazy stuff that is tragic and sad. And I hope it's not true, but it happened. Things like this do happen in families, and it's crazy. Well, Natasha Morris, that's her name. She sent me over something on Facebook where she said, Dr. Boyce, I'd love to get your take on family business and basically the mistake that we make by leaving the family business to cousin Pookie. That, that you got these trifling ass relatives that don't need to receive your assets, but you leave your assets to them because you love them. And in fact, to be more specific, I want to find what Natasha said. Natasha stated it far more eloquently than I just did. And here you go. She said, we talk so much about nowadays about generational wealth, leaving legacies, etc. But what good is leaving Pookie the family house, knowing he's not that smart, doesn't have a steady job, been in and out of jail, not good with money, etc. Why not leave it to someone else in the family who has their act together? I've seen too many Black women, instead of helping their kids who would do the most with their legacy, try and save the few that won't even help themselves. So Natasha, if you're watching, it sounds to me like you're speaking from life experience. You sound triggered. That's how I get when, I'll tell you what triggers me. What triggers me? Trifling, weak Black men who don't hold their responsibilities, who give up on their families, who give up on themselves, who let white supremacy crush them into little boys and they don't come through for their children. That triggers me. That triggers me because my biological father wasn't there for me when I was a kid. And I had an uncle who was like an older brother mentor figure for me. And he always let me down. I remember being let down as early as the age of 5, 6, 7 years old. And eventually about 12, 13, 14, I got tired of crying myself to sleep. I got tired of expecting one thing and getting another. I got tired of being disappointed. So I just took over. I did. And that's what you do. That creates trust issues. So if you want to know, everybody has their triggers, right? So that's my trigger. That's why if you ever hear me talking about the importance of Black men being sturdy and reliable and following through and doing what they're supposed to do, it's because I'm triggered by that. I've seen that up close. I've seen what a weak man can do to a family, and I've also seen the benefits of having a strong man. My father that raised me, my stepfather was a very strong man. He came through for us. But my biological father should have been the one that was there. So I get that, right? I get that. So that's just me keeping, giving you some realness to go with the economic intelligence. Economic intelligence and financial literacy, it means less when it's not connected to something that matters for you, right? It means more when we're talking about economic strength as a key to living a fulfilled, purposeful in relevant life. Okay. So anyway, as we move forward, do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. Also, a quick reminder that tonight we're doing Black Movie Night. We're building a Black movie industry. We're going to watch the film Funeral of a Nation. It's totally free, but I'd love to have your support on supporting Black filmmakers. We got to support our own. We got to build our own. We got to, back our own. I'm not asking for money. I just want you to pay attention. So you don't have to pay money for this event. You just got to pay attention. So if you want to register for Black Movie Night, which is tonight at 8 p.m., tonight, August 20th at 8 p.m., you can register at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net, not .com. It's blackmovienight.net. Somebody please type in blackmovienight.net in the chat so others can see it. So here's what I want to kind of lay out for you really quickly in response to Natasha's statement. I don't know if you guys know this, but 70%, most of you are going to die wealthy. Most of you, because of the fact that you're here, notice that I have a big following, but it's a very select following. There are people out here that have bigger followings than me. The Shade Room has probably 100 times more people than me. That's because the majority of Black people are not thinking about wealth. The majority of our people are not trained to think about long-term gratification. We're trained to think about instant gratification. The majority of our people are not trained to think strategically and intelligently. We're trained to think emotionally and irrationally. So basically, the fact that you're here tells me that you're playing chess in a world where everybody else is playing checkers. People who play chess when everybody else is playing checkers, they're making moves that position them for long-term wins. You might seem like you're losing short-term, but you end up winning long-term. So the fact that you're here and you're even considering this information and you're trying to absorb this means that there's something already, that right there, that data alone put you in a different category from everybody else. So all this stuff about, being Black means you're supposed to be poor, being Black means you're supposed to fail, being Black means you're supposed to be ignorant, being Black means you're supposed to finish school and not be able to read. That doesn't apply to you because you're doing something different. You're not as victimized by the programming that exists all throughout media and in the educational system. So you're going to be wealthy. Many of you, when you die, are going to have a little something to leave to your family. You're going to have a house. You'll probably have some shares of stock. I talk about stock all the time. Raise your hand if you're invested in stock. Please say something in the chat. Most of you are invested in stock. In this platform, we have a higher stock market participation rate than most white people. We actually invest more than white people do in this space. So most of you will have a net worth that exceeds the median white person. So you're going to have stocks, you're going to have real estate. Some of you got businesses. Shout yourselves out if you have a little Black-owned business. A lot of y'all have businesses. I tend to attract business owners. You attract what you are, and what I try to be is I try to be Black all the time. I try to be a wealth builder all the time. I think about and talk about wealth a lot. So that's what I tend to attract. So with that being said, you're going to have to make some hard decisions when the jig is up. When you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you that, you're going to have to go to hospice because, the cancer is incurable. God forbid. I hate saying that to you, but we're all going to die, right? Everybody has their moment. When that occurs, you're going to have to figure out, what am I going to do with all this legacy that I built? Because wealth is an intergenerational game. The families that have lots of money and lots of assets and lots of power are families that have done this over multiple generations. Most of the time, it was not done by one person alone. There are exceptions, like Jeff Bezos and Amazon. He did pretty much all that in one generation. He was middle class growing up, but he wasn't. I don't even know if his family was in the millionaire category. He's in the multi-billionaire category, right? But a lot of these wealthy families, they have an intergenerational thing, and so that involves one, careful estate planning, sitting down with your lawyer. I sat down with my lawyer when I did my estate plan. I sat down with my lawyer for one meeting for 6 hours, and we talked all about everything that I had, where it was, putting it in the trust, making sure it's protected, make sure it gets transferred the right way. I told him about all my family members. I had to tell him about the relatives that are on top of their game. I had to tell him about the trifling relatives and look, I'm going to take care of little cousin Pookie, but little cousin Pookie, here's what you need to do to make sure that you don't give the crackhead too much crack, right? And we talked about the business and how we can make sure the business is protected. You got to have those conversations. And I'm going to just tell you like this, 70% of all wealthy families lose all their wealth in one generation. Did you know that? Did you know that the 70% of all wealthy families lose all their wealth within one generation? 90% lose all their wealth within 2 generations. And most of the time, the person who stole your wealth is related to you. There's a robbery that occurs a major robbery, and it ain't white people necessarily stealing them, but they just collect the trickles. They pick up the crumbs that happen when we blow ourselves to bits and blow ourselves to pieces and destroy our families because we're fighting and everything else. They just sort of sit back and collect the droppings that we leave because we're so busy fighting in court that we don't understand that we just made all the lawyers rich. We just made all the court systems and judges rich. We made the outside consultants rich. In fact, there's $10 billion a year that gets made just from families fighting in court or losing their assets when they die because they don't make proper death plans, or they get in court and start fighting like crazy. And then next thing you know, money's flying everywhere and they're just picking up the pieces. Okay. So at the end of the day, what you got to really think about is who you want to leave your assets to. Who do you want to leave your business to? Our natural inclination is to think, oh, well, I got a child. I'm going to leave it all to my child. Not if your child is trifling. Not if your child is stupid. Not if your child makes bad decisions. No. I mean, maybe you leave something to your child, but maybe there's a better process, to find relatives in your family that have been prepared to handle the responsibility of what you're trying to leave them. And also with kids, a lot of times your kids don't even want to be in your business, right? I know a guy who has several franchise restaurants, $10 million worth of assets, and all these restaurants that he spent his whole life acquiring. He wants to leave it all to his son. And you know what his son wants to do? His son said, I don't want to run a chicken restaurant. I want to be a rapper. Literally, his son's like, I want to be a rapper. I want to hang with the hood dudes. And where does that come from? Well, it comes from brainwashing and media, right? So this man who's tired and old and he's got all these assets, he can't even leave it to his son because his son isn't going to properly take care of the assets. So before he dies, he's going to have to sell some of those assets to somebody who can properly take care of them, put the baby up for adoption so he can find a better home, or find somebody else that he can leave as a steward to his assets. Cousin Pookie ain't always it. A lot of us will do that. And I think when I think about that Welcome to Sweetie Pie situation, you had a grandma, the matriarch, who loved her son no matter how trifling he was, and was letting her son have all this power and influence in the business, and the son was burning it all down. That I think Gladys Knight had a situation like that, if I'm not mistaken. You have that happen a lot. And I think a lot of times with moms, maybe because they love their baby, they want to believe in their baby. You ever see that? You ever see a mama that just won't give up on her baby, no matter what horrible things he does, right? And I guess maybe that's just the nature of being a mother. I don't know. And fathers, we do that. I love my girls and everything else, but there's a point where you have to really be honest about whether or not a person is in a position to even participate in the family business. Some people in your family are so bad that you shouldn't even have them around. They will get you locked up. They will leave you broke on the side of the road because they haven't been trained to think the right way. So I'll say this also. If you have children, you got to groom them. You must groom them to take over the family wealth, at least, if not the family business. If they don't want to take the family business, at least groom them with enough economic intelligence and responsibility so that when you hand them $1 million worth of assets, they're not going to go do something crazy with it. They're not going to go out and spend, all the money trying to make a music video or something, because they have this dream of becoming the next 2 Chainz. So I really think that we got to think about that. You must understand that when it comes to wealth, that there are rules of wealth. That we talk about this a lot in the Black Business School. You got to know where the wealth is. You have to make a plan to go acquire it. You must go acquire it, which is the accumulation process. And then there's the protection process. The protection process is something we don't think a lot about because we don't usually feel like we have much to protect. But part of the protection process, among other things, includes grooming those who are going to take over in the next generation, making sure that they understand economics and fundamentals at a very high level. And I'm going to just tell you the honest to God truth. Some people, Shaq's a good example. Shaq told his kids, if you don't got degrees, you won't get the cheese. And that's what he said. Thank you, Mojo, for bringing that up. Because I was going to bring him an example that pisses people off. But it's true. This is why he's got power. It's Donald Trump. When his father, Fred, built all that wealth, he didn't, they weren't caught up in like getting jobs and all that. His father was like, okay, son, here's some money. Go out and go conquer the world. And when Donald was 28, he bought a $400 million building in the middle of Manhattan, right? But, it wasn't because he was financially illiterate. So what I'll say to you guys is, You can't keep raising workers. You can't keep raising spenders and consumers. You can't keep raising superficial kids who are ignorant. Ignorant, superficial, spender, worker, renter minded people don't tend to build wealth. Wealth builders are people that accumulate and preserve assets. Wealth builders are people that grow assets. They don't deplete assets. They don't give assets away. They know how to accumulate. They know how to preserve, and then they know how to grow. Our culture is the exact opposite. They train you from birth to give everything away, to kill everything you have, and to create what is toxic economic soil. Toxic economic soil means that you're too busy trying to be lit and imitating the idiots on Love and Hip Hop that you don't actually take the time to learn the things you need to know in order to protect yourself financially. That's why you have all these rappers now, like the Migos and Megan Thee Stallion, run around talking about, I got robbed on my contract. No, you didn't get robbed on your contract. They showed you that contract. They asked you, are you sure you want to sign this contract? And you said, okay. Now that you realize that you're being screwed, now you want to go back and label yourself a victim. Well, sometimes we do that. We're trained to be victims also. We're trained to screw ourselves and then get mad and say, well, the reason I got screwed is because of white supremacy. No, you didn't get screwed because of white supremacy. You didn't get screwed because somebody robbed you. Sometimes you get screwed because you're embracing the wrong culture. So I'm telling you, let go. Let go of the fake black culture and grab onto the real black culture. The fake black culture is what you see on TV. When I watch shows like Black AF and they make you think that black culture is like raunchy hip hop that devalues women and has black men bragging about killing each other, that ain't black culture. You just think that's black culture because they fed that to you, but that is irresponsible, ridiculous, destructive culture. That is economically destructive culture. It is physically destructive. Killing each other, going to prison, wanting to stay high and drunk all the time. All those things are tools. All those things are the things you do if you want to stay broke. If you want to be a slave, then that is what you do, right? That's slave culture. You let go of slave culture and grab black culture. Black culture is a lot of what you had in Black Wall Street, a lot of what you had before integration, a lot of what you had before you started believing that the white man's ice was colder. Black culture to me is when we're talking about building legacy. Black culture to me means taking care of family. Black culture to me means healthy marriages. So as a part of your legacy, black culture to me means raising strong and responsible and intelligent children. Black culture to me means picking up a book before you pick up a gun or an iPhone or a Gucci bag, right? That's black culture to me. So let go of the white supremacist slave culture and grab some black culture and put that in your family, because the rest of the world has just lost its damn mind. So that's my 2 cents. I got to go, guys. I got a meeting now in 2 minutes, or actually it started 2 minutes ago. So I'm going to have to abruptly bounce out of here. I hope that this was helpful to you, but I had to get this off my chest. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe button. Also tonight, Black Movie Night is 8:00. You can join us. Register at blackmovienight.net, not .com. That's blackmovienight.net. Last but not least, if you want a free copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, you can go to allblackeconomics.com. That's allblackeconomics.com. One more time, allblackeconomics.com. You can go there and the book is free. All right, guys, take care. Have a good day. I will see you soon. Be good. Peace.